Today's podcast is brought to you by Sheath underwear. And Sheath underwear, if you've never tried it, is sexy. Like, it's just like if there was underwear for guys that was like good, like men lingerie or something like that, it's Sheath. It's comfortable. They've got that the pocket where you drop your nuts into it, and then even the Zen pouch where you stick your shaft through the hole. It's functional. It feels good. It looks good. It's no joke. I pack for a trip for 10 days. I throw 10 pairs of Sheath in there. It's good shit. Check it out. Use promo code SPEED if you haven't tried it yet. It will save you money on your first order. And I assure you, everybody that's done this loves it. It's not like, it's just a pair of tighty whities. No, it's good shit. Check it out. Sheathunderwear.com. Promo code SPEED. What's up, Glenn from Glenn's Car Collection? Rob Ferretti here with Glenn from Glenn's Car Collection, podcast 66. And I got a stack of business cards from Dollar Shave Club. That's pretty cool. We'll get to that later. But I want to thank everyone for joining us and hanging tight while I've been doing a bunch of traveling.
Yeah, it's been a while since our last podcast, and you've been all over, right?
At least a minute. Yeah, I've been in like probably 12 or 13 countries.
Wow,
since,
12 or 13?
Something like that. It's like, even on this last trip, it was Belgium, France, Luxembourg, Germany, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, Netherlands. That's
England?
That's seven.
England,
no, I wasn't in
no?
England.
Okay.
That's 7 countries.
That's
right
still a lot.
there.
That's 7 more than I went to.
Yeah. Oh, Italy. That's 8. So I mean, I did. I touched a lot. But
now you just did the Nurburgring recently, right?
I did. That was part of that trip. So we did the influencer trip to Europe for the Project Car Challenge, and it's where I flew Adam's car out and Lou's car out, which both had their respective issues. But I flew their cars out, or not flew. I sailed their cars over there,
right,
so that they could drive them in the Nurburgring. And then I invited the people that attended the Project Car Challenge to come out and cheerlead, as well as like other influencers that wanted to come out.
Right.
That I thought it would be appropriate. So
cool.
The people from the Project Car Challenge, myself, Adam, Tommy, were there. Tommy invited Chris Rudnick, who is just somebody who shares a warehouse with Tommy. Also has a channel. They were part of like a Haggard Garage. The other one was Grant. Grant also came with Tommy. And then Amelia Hartford came as well. She's from the West Coast. I met her during the Michelin event that we did early last year. And she got an invite as well. David was going to come, but he bailed last minute. Not really last minute. He bailed semi-last minute because he had to go do something with the Hoonigan guys. And then he had to do like Rally North America or something. So the travel was just two on top of each other.
Right.
And a little bit overlapping. But we had a great time. The highlight, I don't know, it was a cool trip. Like, I enjoyed it. But I've been there. We'll get into the trip in a minute. But bunch of travel. That took place. I did the update on the YouTube channel. A lot of this transpired in the last like 2 weeks. I did the starting of the rental company on the YouTube channel. I did the warehouse reveal on the YouTube channel. I updated a little bit more on what happened between myself and the company that Gotham did the deal with back in the day that hired me and all that nonsense. So if you haven't been on the YouTube channel in a minute, you should probably go check it out. There's a bunch of good stuff on there.
Yeah, lots happened. Now, the Nurburgring, we were just talking before, that you've done that track twice, 2 different times,
I
right?
went once when we were filming Super Speeder 7 in like 2012 or 13 maybe.
Did you get to drive it then?
I did. I drove with Rent for Ring. I drove with Dale Lomer, and I drove like an M3 race car for. It was either I think I did a lap. I think I did maybe 2 laps, bridge to Gantry, and then had one taxi lap.
Okay.
This time I also did 2 laps and 1 taxi lap, but obviously I was significantly faster this time because I'm becoming more and more confident. Not so much in the track that I know it any better.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a little bit more confident in the instructors
Oh.
and the fact that they know that they're not out to die. So if they tell me to stay flat,
right,
I still go 8/10, but like I know I don't have to like brake at least going into the turn.
Now, have you played it in video games to kind of learn the gist
Not
of it?
really. And as I always joke, like it's always like that first turn or the first couple of turns that's dead after the straightaway. Where the straightaway in the video game, I remember always like trying to get top speed, like 340 kilometers.
It's hard to do that in real life, right?
And I just like beeline into the rail and crash. And I remembered that. But I haven't played any game having to do with the Nurburgring or anything like that since our Gotham warehouse in
Teterboro,
which was probably like 2007 or 2008. So it's been about 11 years. And even then, I very rarely played. I've never been a big video game guy, so I don't have that knowledge. But two guys that did play the video game a lot, Chris and Tommy, both did actually pretty well, having never been to the track before.
Because they knew probably what turns were coming. Or...
They had like visualized the track in their head,
yeah,
and then they can make it real life. I couldn't do that.
Now, when you went for a ring taxi ride, what did they take you around, like an M5s or something?
They took us around the first time in like I forget what it was. Like I think it was like a M4 or something like that. It may have been. It was a full interior street car.
2-door or 4-door?
4-door.
Okay, so it's probably an M5 or an M3.
No, it wasn't M5. It wasn't.
Because the M4 is the 2-door.
Then it was just like a regular passenger car.
Okay.
With an M package or something.
Yeah. Now, how did that compare to say driving your car? Are the ring drivers so good they're going just as fast?
Oh yeah, they blow us away. Like no matter what they drive, and that's the car I ended up driving. The taxi lap I went in was an M4 the second time, and that thing ripped pretty hard. And that was more of a race car, wide body, carbon fiber, and that was pretty wild. I think with some traffic, we did like a 720 lap or something like that, which is moving.
Yeah, that's
like,
pretty fast.
That's like as fast as a pro driver in like a ZR1 from a couple of years ago. So like to do that with like passing traffic and everything like that on not even a track tire,
right,
was pretty impressive.
Now, if somebody was going to the Nürburgring, like if I or a viewer was going to the Nürburgring the first time, should they take their ring ride first to kind of learn?
Take the ring ride first.
So you can see how fast.
Not so you could see the course, but you'll gauge the limitations of the car, and you'll be like, oh, okay, and you'll be a little bit more confident when you go out,
so you
because you'll be like, I'm nowhere near where this guy was, where I thought he was about to crash into the wall, but he had room to play. So
that's pretty cool. And what do you think is best? Should you ship your car there or just rent one? I guess rent one for the experience, right?
I'd go to Apex.
Yeah.
Misha Sheridan's got a YouTube channel. He welcomed us over there and sort of took care of us. It was good dude. Drove a car over to Spa for us because we were at Spa before Nürburgring. So we were able to lap Spa in a Cupra that we rented from him. And then when we went to the Nürburgring, we were driving the M2, which you're familiar with.
Right, and so are you, because you've driven mine.
I've driven yours. And that was a lot of fun as well. So
cool. Now, how would you compare? Obviously, Spa is not 13, 14 miles like the Nürburgring.
Spa was super fun.
Yeah. You did Eau Rouge when you do the straightaway and you go up?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a lot of vertical or just a lot of elevation change in that track. Like when you sit in the paddocks there's a restaurant, and not a restaurant, but like a cafe on the top. When you're on those balconies, you can see the track just rise up into the hills.
Oh, really? Wow.
And then come back down. It's really cool.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. That must be crazy because you usually feel a lot of G-forces, especially going uphill.
Yeah. You don't really, or at least because it was raining when we were there.
Okay.
So we weren't really cranking as hard as we would have. I felt a lot more G-forces at the Nürburgring, even with myself driving, than I did at.
How were those bank turns in the Nürburgring? You know what I'm talking about? They have a couple
carousel?
of those. Yeah, how was that?
It was cool. I went pretty hard into the carousels because I just that was a big benefit from the taxi laps. I went in. I dove in probably twice as fast as I did
because you saw the pros doing it.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was, but I was like over 10 minutes on my laps last time. And again, I don't know the track,
right?
So you have that aspect, but this time it was like 9:15. So that's obviously
great improvement.
It's a great improvement on my third and fourth lap.
Right.
But we'll see. And that was spaced out by 5 years. So like I don't remember.
Just wait till 5 years from now.
There's no benefit. Like, but if I was there for a weekend,
yeah,
I could probably shave another minute off.
I'm sure.
It's just all about feel, knowing what's coming up.
Right.
And Nurburgring's a big momentum track. So like we were doing 720s with traffic in an M4, which is 550 horsepower. You don't need 1,000 horsepower or 700 or 800 horsepower to put down crazy laps. That's a sub 7 second car or 7 minute car, and it's sub 7 minutes on an empty track with the pro driver.
Right.
And it's just bonkers because it doesn't have a lot of horsepower. You'd think like, wow, it needs a lot of horsepower.
Yeah.
It's also not 2,100 pounds.
Wow.
So it's a lot of knowing where you're going, and it's all tire, suspension, and being able to carry that momentum around the track more so than accelerating out of turns.
Right. And with the pro drivers, they have clear track. There's nobody else?
No,
oh, okay. So they're driving with everybody else.
Driving with a pro, but they were just driving around to whoever.
So when you're driving on the track, are most people, like, are you in the middle where there's faster guys and slower guys, or is most people
we were there on a
fast because they live
private
there?
day.
Okay.
So it was just everybody ripping around.
Okay. So it wasn't like people for the first time on the track or sightseers?
There could have been. It's just they had to spend $1,000 a person to be on the track that day,
So they probably are a little bit of an enthusiast if they're spending that kind of money.
You would think, but the Nurburgring, I think you could buy a yearly pass to go on public days for like $2,100 or $2,700, whatever it is. If you plan on using it, it's either $30 a lap, or you get your yearly pass and you can go as much as you want. But if I lived anywhere near there, I'd get a yearly pass and go ham.
That'd be awesome. And the weather was good at the Nurburgring.
It was. Spa was rain. Nurburgring was good weather. The track was wet in the morning when Tommy and I went out. There was some fog on the track. We had the sun was a little bit of an issue for us in the morning.
Which one? Which track are we talking about?
Nurburgring.
Okay. And Spa, what car did you drive on Spa?
A Cupra.
A what?
A Cupra.
One of those Seat Cupras? Is that what it is? Or
I think so.
Yeah.
It's 260 horsepower front wheel drive.
I was going to say,
DSG,
aren't they front wheel drives? Yeah, but it's still okay on the
track?
It
was fun.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Like anyone.
Now, are they sticks?
What's that?
Are they stick shifts?
That was DSG, that one.
Okay. And what about like the BMWs you drove?
Everything we did was a paddle shift or something like that. Look, I mean, at the end of the day on the track, that's what I want. I mean, I'm not going to be the tough guy that's like, oh, if it was a stick shift car, would I? No, I had a great time. Like,
I'm sure the lap time will be better with the paddles because you can't screw up a downshift.
100%
You can't screw up a
it'll be better.
Yeah.
And I didn't even manually shift because I was hanging in the revs enough just with the car in sport mode or whatever it was.
Shift itself.
That I was never really outside of a power band where I was like, oh, wrong gear.
Yeah, I mean, we love manual transmissions, but these DCTs in sport mode, 99% of the time are going to pick the right gear anyway.
I love manual transmissions for like bombing through the mountains or something like that. That's when I love manual. Like
I think for slower cars too, manuals are great. Like I like the S2000, the NSX. I think the car really speaks to you in a manual transmission.
The NSX, it's slow. Like you're rowing through gears. But when you get to the faster cars and you have to think and focus a lot more on the track and everything like that, and it's easier to screw up. Like even my vet, I like it in manual. Yeah. But on a racetrack, I could see where a quicker shifting transmission, or a never fail transmission, so to speak, where it never misses a shift, would be a better play.
Cool.
Especially if you had diving into a turn, hard braking and trying to heel toe your way, like stuff like that. I mean, I don't get enough practice at that where I'm confident enough. I always leave more room than I have to.
Yeah. Now, if you had to do one of those, today you were going back, you only could do one of those tracks, Nurburgring or Spa. Forget about lap times, just having fun. Which one would you take?
I'd probably go to Spa. Yeah. I really enjoyed that track. That was a fun track.
I've only played it in video games, but it seems like with the elevation changes.
Yeah, it was just a good time.
And Formula One's there. It seems like a cool track.
It would be easier to get the hang of that track. And there's nothing really tricky at Spa. Yeah. So it's easier to get the hang of Spa than it is Nurburgring. Nurburgring has a lot of to really master it. Right. I mean, you're talking thousands of laps. Technical. You could start putting together some pretty aggressive times around Spa just by being there for a day or two.
Right. like a regular track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can learn it. It's just like,
Yep.
all right, now I know how fast I can take that turn. At Nurburgring, it's like, what turn was that? And then you
Right.
have to
There's
like, sit together
70 less
sequence.
turns at Spa.
Yeah, you have sequences of turns
Yeah.
that you have to realize how fast you can go and where you can carry and like where you're getting air and when to brake and how to tap the brake. It's just like there's just a lot going on.
Yep.
If you listen to any instructional lap at Nurburgring where somebody's telling you what to do, you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, holy crap! How do you know like every single?
Yeah.
There's not 5 seconds of silence because there's always something to
Right.
do or some sort of input or advice that you need to manage that section of the track.
Now, there are markers that the instructor tells you. Like, I remember I used to do a lot of track days like Watkins Glen. You know, when you see this patch on the pavement is when you turn in, or when you see the fence,
would be
they
like
tell you things like
there's
that.
a AMSOIL sign.
Yeah,
like
when you see that, it's your turn-in
drive
spot.
towards that sign.
Yeah.
Okay, now you turn into the curbstone on the right, and then so.
Cool. Excellent. Now, if you were ever going to do a track day with one of your cars, what car would you take? The Vet?
Corvette.
Yeah. Have you ever tracked any of the Ferraris or anything?
I tracked my GT3. I tracked my Viper ACR.
Your GT3 had ceramic brakes? I don't remember.
GT3 did have ceramics,
Okay.
yes. My Viper ACR and the Corvette are the only 3 that I've actually tracked.
The ACR is probably the closest to a real track car, right? Yeah. It's probably better on the track than on the street.
I enjoyed it more on the track than the street.
Yeah. That was hardcore.
Yeah.
Do you miss that car?
I don't.
No.
I miss the look of it. It was cool and awesome to have in the driveway.
Yeah.
But that car was, I don't know, dangerous is the wrong word, but it was. It
could be a handful to an unskilled driver.
Yeah, but it was also just not so fun on the street. Like it's like having a kid running around and you have to like control them all the time.
Yep.
You can't take your eyes off them. That's not as fun as having a kid who's just there hanging out with you.
Yep. So. Once I did an autocross, not once, but I had a Cayman S I was autocrossing, and my friend had a Viper, a GTS. I think it was like a 2000, give or take, the coupe.
Sure.
So one time we switched laps, right? So that, compared to a Cayman for autocross, different on a big track, the Viper's more powerful. The Viper was really a handful, and it was a hot day, and the Cayman S, while I'm waiting to go or whatever, I can run the air conditioning. So I got out of the Viper like all sweated. It was a handful, but I got a decent time. But you really like tiring, because you really had there was no fluid to it.
Sure.
It was like, so I'm like, oh my God, it's so hot in there. And the guy's like, yeah, good thing I have good air conditioning. I'm like, holy shit, that was good air conditioning. That was like, it was probably 101 degrees inside the car.
Like there's a lot of mechanical grip in the Viper.
Especially the ACR.
Yeah.
You probably had real downforce, right? So the faster you go, the more stable it got.
It was just it had a lot of grip. Like and then the thing is, it's got a lot of grip but no traction control. So there's nothing to save your ass if you're like, oh wow, this is all crash.
No stability control, no traction control, nothing. Yeah.
Just engine, seats, shifter, tires.
Yep. And even the shifter's like churning butter.
It's true.
Heavy clutch.
But speaking of the Nurburgring, while we're there, so Adam's car got hung up in the port.
Really?
So he had customs issues that somebody damaged his car at some point in time in the chain. And the question is, who damaged it? Was it customs? Was it the shipper? Was it the guy who transported it from the warehouse to the port? Was it the guy from the customs at the port over there? Was it the guys on the boat? Was it the guys at the warehouse after when it was unloaded in Germany? Was it the guys at customs in Germany?
Oh, wow.
So there's like so many different people
that touched it. Now, when you, how long does it take? Say you want to ship your car to the Nurburgring. How long does it take? Because when you put it on a boat, it could take a couple of weeks, right?
It takes about, I give it 3 weeks, mainly for customs clearance.
Yeah.
But Adam's car was there on time. Lou's car was there prior to that with no real issues.
And Lou's car was Corvette?
The Corvette. And he was gunning for a sub 7-minute lap to hold like the Corvette record.
Yeah.
But he, I want to say, overestimated or underestimated the track a little bit. Thought he could learn it a little sooner. And he made a couple of trips out there. He did like 120 laps. He's a pro driver.
Oh, wow.
And he was able to muster a 7:35, which isn't bad at all for essentially being a tourist.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, it was well off the mark though. of where he was trying to go, but it was a very respectable lap.
Right.
But his car made it. He did that. He got black flagged a couple of times for noise violations.
They have decibel violations there?
So.
The BMW drivers were getting like 720s.
On the taxi cars.
Right, on regular
Yeah,
cars.
I mean,
yeah.
a stock...
But that's their job.
A stock Z06 with a pro driver over there.
Yeah.
Not a pro driver, but like a guy who, I guess, used to be a pro driver, became a journalist, did 712.
Okay.
So with his lighter car,
Right.
with the better suspension, better everything, you would have expected him to at least shave 10, 15 seconds off. The other thing with comparable drivers,
Right.
but the other guy probably had thousands of laps.
Yeah.
And Lou at 100.
So you attribute to not having enough experience on the track.
It just and at that point in time, like, oh, you should just have a pro driver lined up there just in case. And I don't know if it was part like pride or part. He's like I am a pro driver, so it's either part pride or part that he sold the car to somebody already. So handing the keys over and explain, like, if he does something, he can explain it.
Yeah, if somebody else crashed.
If somebody else crashes, like, oh, I crashed the car because you didn't set it up right, or like it's just not worth it. And I get that aspect of it, but I think he's got a new appreciation for the track, the difficulties, the noise levels that are allowed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll be back. I think Lou is a competitive guy, and I don't think he's going to be like, all right, we tried. I think he's going to rejigger, go back, and double down.
Up. Now, was Adam able to drive his car on the track?
He didn't. His car.
Oh, wow. Because of the
he
issues?
left to the customs. Now, he was up there, and it was a little bit. He waited till last minute. I suggested there's something called a carnet, which is like a bail bond, so to speak. It's like you give it to the government in exchange for you saying you're going to take your car out, and it's like whatever the tax would be, $20,000-$30,000, something to like make sure that you're going to get that car out of there. Because otherwise, it's like, yeah, I'll give you your $40 carnet, and then you just keep the car in the country forever.
Oh, okay.
So they want to make sure it leaves.
Yeah.
So if you're illegally importing a car or something like that, not bringing it over for a month or two.
And that's the limit, like 2 months or
I
something,
think it's 6 months.
Okay.
So so Adam shipped his car. They had problems with the paperwork, and I was like, look, just let's FedEx the paperwork to the port, and we'll have a truck bring it down to the Nurburgring. So just sitting there waiting for us, because we're here. We had Spa on the 1st, and then Nurburgring on the 8th. So we had like a week in between, but it didn't make sense to fly back for a week. So it was one of those things that we went, and ultimately we just said, let's drive around. We'll go to Oktoberfest. We'll see Europe. We'll do all this fun stuff. And that's what we ended up doing. The trip itself, like, Adam was like, well, I want to drive my car from the port. It's 5 hours. The port to Nurburgring. And I was like, all right, well, so you should do that. But at that point in time, I'm like, just make sure you give yourself enough time in case there's any headaches that we can solve them. And ultimately, he waited till, not that he waited, but he showed up on Friday at the port to get the car. And the port's like, it's like any government, like, bureaucracy nonsense. They were jerking him around a lot with the paperwork, or there's a digit wrong on the thing, and it's just one of those things. You're dealing with the lowest level, like, customs official, like, sitting in their little throne, and you just look at them or talk to them the wrong way, and the next thing you know, you're stuck. And that's essentially what happened. I don't know if Adam said anything bad to them, or if it was just the general vibe that we were given off, or maybe the fact that we're Americans. They decided to give him a hard time on the paperwork, and then it was too late to get that rectified that day. And ultimately, if there was an error on the paperwork, it goes back to the one of the shipping companies that did it. But ultimately, like, he couldn't get the car out that day because he couldn't clear customs. So we left it there, and we could have gotten it on Monday morning, but they went to Amsterdam and then drove down to the Nurburgring. So to go back up there to get the car, it just wasn't worth it. I suggested, because I spent the money to ship it over, that we at least, like, all right, why don't we just have it shipped down to the Nurburgring and let Misha's guys take it around. It's still cool content to be like, I shipped my car to the Nurburgring, and it went 690, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean. It went 649. It went 712. Whatever it is, it would be cool to have that. But ultimately, we just turned it around in the port and sent it back because we're sort of at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Adam's travel schedule is pretty busy, and it was just like, you know what, just ship it home. So,
wow.
I spent the money to ship his car over there and back.
Both ways.
For nothing, yeah.
That sucks. Now, when did he notice it was damaged? When he went to pick it up?
When he went to pick it up.
Oh, wow.
There was like a dent in the roof.
Oh, in the roof.
In the roof, yeah. His tablet was missing out of the car, but yeah, I mean, that's sort of, you're not supposed to leave your stuff in the car. That's like rule number one. And then there was water in his trunk, and he said his amplifier was like taken
Fried?
out. No,
Yeah.
like taken out.
Oh.
And I get that. That's like customs. Like if they see something that looks aftermarket,
Yeah.
they're gonna look underneath it. Like, what is this
okay.
thing? Is there drugs
Yeah.
in it? Is there like
Okay.
why is if it's stock, it's a little bit easier to, I guess, get along with things. But when they decide to pull it apart, but I guess they must have left the trunk open at some point in time, probably in Florida when it went through customs and it rained and the trunk got water in it. So it is what it is. So we're trying to get that all sorted out, but it sucks that this car went all the way to halfway around the world and for nothing.
It came back worse than it left.
But
now, speaking of cars, you have a nice fleet of cars for Gotham.
I do.
Yeah.
So I did the video about me starting a rental company, and I also did the video that stitched everything together, explaining effectively what happened between me and the company that hired me, and then the separate relationship that existed between that company and Gotham, which I'm also an owner of, and and I tried to explain how to keep those two relationships separate, my employment with them and the company relationship, and ultimately I explained that we were in arbitration with that company as far as Gotham and that relationship was, and that was still pending, and that at a certain point in time they didn't really supply an ample fleet for Gotham to match Gotham's demands or their customer needs, and there was no other viable options other than me starting my own company to fulfill our own customer needs. And now I'm back in the game. Not really by choice, but at least we're not really relying on anyone anymore. We can control our own destiny again, or at least I can control my own destiny.
Now, is it the name Gotham Dream Cars again, or is it?
It's Gotham. It's always going to be Gotham Dream Cars.
Yep.
The company Gotham Dream Cars exists. Will always exist. I don't know if we'll continue to own it forever, but until we sell it, that company does and will exist, and that's what I will operate under. Just because I own it, I don't want to compete against myself. I want to do the fulfillment, but I don't want to compete against myself or my partners by calling it a different name.
Right. Cool. We got a good selection. You got the 488, right?
488, 458, 458 Spider.
Right, two 458s, yeah.
Rolls-Royce Dawn, Porsche convertible.
Z06.
Z06, Range Rover, and then AMG GT.
You have a 362 or no?
No, 360 is mine.
Cool.
I don't rent old Ferraris. I mean, I'll rent my own personal cars for like movies and displays, but I wouldn't rent them for personal use.
Nice.
I've thought about throwing the NSX on Toro just for shits and giggles, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would go.
I think with a manual transmission, you got to be careful because there are a lot of people that say they know how to drive manual.
Yeah.
They really don't.
But I mean, what's the worst that happens if I charge $750 a day and they burn out the clutch?
Can you get it done for $750?
10 rentals?
Well, what if they burn it out after two rentals or one rental?
I'll have a receipt that the clutch was done recently, and I'll make them pay for it.
But wouldn't that be different if you put your own car on Turo? That's a great question. Say you put just for example, your car is a clean car. Now somebody gets in a fender bender with it, even if you make their insurance pay for it. But now you got a dirty Carfax.
You may have a right to diminish value through the insurance and everything like that. I just thought it would be interesting to try.
Oh, it would be interesting.
You know. So
it would be interesting. But I know some people have done like putting their cars on Turo, and sometimes the first couple, like I think it's good for somebody renting.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you want to buy a certain car, go on Turo and try it, or
Sure.
keep it for a weekend or a week or whatever. But I'd be hesitant to put my own cars. Like I thought about that when I was unemployed.
Everybody's like that,
I could put my own cars in Turo, and that could be an income, you know.
Yeah.
But then I thought if somebody burns out a clutch or backs into something,
Yep.
and now I got a dirty Carfax and my car's worth, you know what I mean?
I don't care as much. Like the NSX,
don't care as much as I do.
I plan on keeping it for the foreseeable future,
Right.
if not forever.
Yep.
And that doesn't really bother me.
No,
so,
I know.
like,
You park your car in the street in New York City, I would never.
yeah, my Ferrari's
my
parked
car's
outside
never
getting
crossed the
rained on
bridge.
right now.
My car's never been over a bridge. No, that's great. So Gotham, the timing is probably a couple months, right? You did a video today showing the new space. So there's
Yeah,
gonna be a
January
build-out.
1, I would expect the build out to be done. I mean, I'll document it along the way as we start plugging away and putting things in.
I think those columns, those poles are structural.
No, I'm sure they are, but
You can probably wrap
I
them.
can
so there's no
probably
damage.
reinforce and
Yeah.
do no, but I can reinforce it and do maybe I-beams or something like that. It's not the cheapest option.
You can you can take columns away if you reinforce the ones that you keep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe put thicker ones and then I-beam
Yeah.
across, and then I can eliminate every other one or something. I'll have to talk to an
Yeah, I
engineer
mean, it's
about that.
expensive. I don't know if it's probably better to just move the cars around there.
Okay. I gotta
Depends
see.
what you want to spend
I
and how
gotta
long you're going to be
I gotta
there.
measure it out. I guess
Yeah.
it ends up working.
But cool, it looks like a good space.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Nice.
So
Excellent.
let's take a quick break. We'll be back in a second. Quick commercial break for those that support the podcast. Definitely check them out. Hey everybody, today's video is sponsored by Dollar Shave Club. You've heard that before, and the good thing is you guys have listened because I just got a letter in the mail from Dollar Shave Club that boom, I'm in their top 5% of influencers. That means you guys are signing up and I'm saving you guys a lot of money and giving you guys a great product. And I appreciate that. That works out for both of us because by supporting them, you support me. We're a big happy family and we're saving money together and looking and smelling good. Well, anyway, today, now to the business here. I got this weird routine. Like, I don't know if it's weird. It could be like what you guys do. I shampoo, then I conditioner, and only after I put the conditioner in do I wash the rest of my body. I feel like that allows the conditioner to actually set in and do its job. But no matter how you do your routine, Dollar Shave Club's got all the products to have you looking, feeling, and smelling your best. No matter how you get ready, Dollar Shave Club has everything you need to help you look, feel, and smell your best. I've tried their Awakening Body Cleanser, and it's my favorite. Everything is super high quality and leaves me looking and feeling amazing. Dollar Shave Club is basically giving away their Daily Essential Starter Set to new members for only $5. This starter set features 3 trial-size versions of their most popular products that help you stay fresh and clean, along with their executive razor. In your first box, you'll receive shave butter, body wash, 1 wipe Charlie's butt wipes, and their executive razor with the premium weighted handle and a full cassette of cartridges. Check out the link in the description, dollarshaveclub.com/superspeedersrob. That's dollarshaveclub.com/superspeedersrob. But we've got the warehouse, we've got the rental fleet, we've got all that stuff. House update coming up too. Everybody's
Cool.
eager to hear that. That'll be this week. The videos from Europe are coming up. That'll be good. Everyone sort of got along. Obviously, people grind on each other a little bit after a week, especially when you get the influencers all in one place together. Let's see if there's any drama. Rudnick was a little retarded. Tommy slipped his camera down the railing to him at Porsche Museum, and it like got wedged between the escalator and the wall and like damaged the wall at the Porsche Museum. Made a big thing, and my finger's finally healing. But I'm the one who got his camera unstuck. But that was quite the scene.
Do they know? Did the Porsche Museum people?
They
know?
were there, yeah. They were sending up a mechanical engineer to help, like, essentially disassemble the escalator to get it. It was a mess. But like, I feel bad. Like, I don't want to be the guy to go in and damage something and be like, "Oh yeah, we're just vloggers, so it's okay." No, it's not cool. I don't like third-party property damage. If I break my own shit, that's one thing. If I break your shit, I'll pay for it. But like, just going through like a tornado and like damaging stuff and leaving. I mean, if we caused $1,500 in damage to the wall of the Porsche Museum,
is that how much it was?
Probably. We can get somebody in there to fix it. But it's the same thing. It's like I feel responsible for that, but it's the equivalent of going and keying a Carrera GT.
Sure.
Yeah, it costs them $1,500 to fix. Who cares?
Yeah.
But it's just like it's not. We spent $10 to go in and look at it, so it made me feel a little weird. But Oktoberfest was fun. Everybody but Tommy got dressed up in the lederhosen and the dirndl. It was a good time. We had a bunch of drinks. Rudnick was just chugging them. He was pretty shit-faced. But Grant was a great dude. I had a lot of fun with Grant. Adam had a good time. I had a good time. Amelia had a good time. Shivam had a good time. I would say Amelia got second drunkest. So she had to stumble back. But Adam and I went out to dinner. Adam, me, and Shivam went to the Ratskeller afterwards, walked through the Marienplatz. It was cool. It was like, I love Munich. It's a great city.
Yeah. How was the Porsche Museum?
It was cool. I'm not a museum guy.
Yeah, I'm not either.
But the Porsche Museum, there's a cafe in it. It's like one of those things, you go there to go there.
What do they have, like classic Porsches or race cars?
Yeah, they've got everything, and it's like, it's cool to see them all and the progressions over the years, and like the 919 that whooped up at the Nurburgring in 5 minutes and 15 seconds or whatever that lap was. It's really like, it's cool to see that, but
is it worth going?
It is if you're in Stuttgart.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go out of my way. I think for adventure drives next year, we're going to be going to Stuttgart. So a lot of people may do a museum delivery.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So,
that'd be cool.
Saves you from having to rent cars.
Yeah.
So doing museum delivery saves you having to rent a car. You get to drive it around, ship it over here. They usually give you a pretty nice discount to do European delivery.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, that was the play that you originally wanted to do, right? You wanted to get the new GT3.
Yeah. I may do that again next year, but like at a certain point in time, the rental cars, like to rent a Porsche is like $2,500. So to have to buy and then register and sell a car over here, unless you plan on keeping the car, it's not really the smartest play. It's a good convenience move.
Yeah.
If you plan on like replacing your car or keeping the car. But like I would get like another GLS or something like that, and I don't want to drive around Europe in a GLS. Right. I'd rather drive around in a sports car.
Right. Now, you drove recently the GT2 RS. Cool. And then Shivam has the GT3 RS.
I drove the other GT3 RS too, the Weissach package.
Right. That's right, the green one. So have you driven a regular 991 GT3, the new 991.2?
I haven't driven the stick one. I'm excited to drive it because that's the car I want.
Yeah.
But, I mean, every time I drive Shivam's car, I'm like, wow, this thing is like, it's perfect.
The 997
the 997 GT3 RS.
Yeah.
And I just don't see really needing or wanting much more than that. So if I don't ultimately get the 991.2 RS,
right.
or I mean the 991.2 stick shift, then I'll just get a 997 again. Which I had a great time. My 997 for the $80,000 was such a phenomenal, fun car.
Yeah, you drove that almost every day.
I drove it. I loved it. Yeah. It was a great car.
Yeah.
So I see another. There's going to be another Porsche in my future relatively soon, but I want to get the house built first. Now, like
you need the garage.
I need the garage.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of stuff I want to do before I go down that path and start scooping up more cars.
And you got access to rent the cars, so.
I mean, I don't drive the rental cars.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, it doesn't serve any purpose for me to drive them anymore. That was one thing I kept mentioning on previous podcasts. I sold the 488, but I didn't give details. That video about the rental company now explains that I sold it to myself.
Yeah.
I just sold it over to my rental company, so I could make some money back on that car because if I just sold it even with like 800 miles on it, if I just sold it to the highest bidder, it was going to be $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 loss. So I just said, like,
and what do you attribute that to? Do they make too many of those cars?
They made a bunch. It's just the market was pretty soft. A lot of people were buying them as speculators, and then it's a turbo car, not naturally aspirated.
Right.
So once that, like, I got the new car thing wore off, it wasn't as big of a deal. Instead of waiting like 2 years to get one, now people are waiting 6 months. Because, I mean, Ferrari's now a public company. They want to stamp out cars.
Yeah.
So I saw that happening, and just there was too many for sale. And the biggest offer I got was 15 over sticker. So, and I passed on it because I was told at the time that the market was 50 over. So, yeah.
Well, you got to drive it.
I did. I drove it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like,
I love driving it. It's probably the best car I ever drove.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Yeah.
Like if I made a couple of bucks, great. If I lose a couple of bucks, not so great. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Now the 458, if you could buy any of those cars and you're factoring in price, You like the 458?
458 coupe.
Yeah.
For 458 Spider, like 458 coupe and like the 170s, great value. 458 Spider, there's still like 215 to 225.
Yeah.
But also a phenomenal car.
Is it worth the extra money for the Spider for somebody?
I like the Spiders.
Yeah, because you could just hear everything.
Yeah,
and...
it's not even that. It's just like I like to be able. It's like two cars in one.
Right.
It's a coupe when you want a coupe. It's convertible when you want a
Yeah,
convertible.
because it's a hardtop convertible. I drove. I don't know if I mentioned it at the last podcast. I did drive a 458. I was a 2011.
Okay.
So great car. Yep. Sounds great, of course. But I thought the paddle shift transmission, and I drove it in sport, not race mode, was a little laggy. Was it laggy because it was a 2011?
It wouldn't be laggy.
Yeah, it just felt like it wasn't as fast to me as a 570S McLaren. But to be honest, there's 6 years between those two cars.
Yeah, but it's like the milliseconds. I mean, it's the cars have these dual clutches, and there's the even number gears on this shaft and the odd number gears on this shaft.
Yeah.
They're both spinning at the same time, so you're just toggling back and forth.
Right, they're already preset.
It's instant.
Yeah.
And so, like, to say it's laggy, like a 360 or a 430 would be laggy.
Yeah.
It's instant. Like a 430, like it may not feel instant because you could tweak the settings to make it like hit harder.
Right.
But you're going from one gear to the next seamlessly. Like it's
it didn't seem as seamless as the McLaren, though I didn't drive them back to back. But then somebody else said, it may have been you, that 2012 there were some improvements to that, or no?
I don't.
Maybe somebody else.
I don't think there were.
You think it was the same the whole time?
Yeah. In 2012, I think they started offering
the free maintenance and the warranty, the 10-year warranty or whatever. Yeah.
So that's when they're like, wow, we built a pretty reliable car. We can,
finally
we can throw in some warranties. So
cool. Excellent.
Yeah, no, but I'm happy with that. The 458 would be the play.
So somebody new to Ferrari buying, right now, you think the 458 is probably one of the best buys? Or do you still think it's like a 360?
The 458 is a good buy.
Yeah.
I think I don't think you're ever really going to get hurt, especially if they don't do any more naturally aspirated V8s.
Right, which doesn't seem like they're going to.
Yeah. It's tough to go backwards. Like, yeah, we screwed up on that 48 thing.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I'm still like partially jet lagged from the trip.
When did you get back?
I got back 4 days ago.
Okay.
But I wake up earlier. Like I'm waking up at like the first couple of days, like 5 a.m, and I'm up for the day. So now at 10 o'clock at night, I'm tired where I'm normally up till 2 a.m. I've been waking up a lot earlier still, and even now, 6:30, 6:45.
Yeah.
I haven't really gotten back into my normal schedule.
Maybe you keep it that way.
I don't know.
Here's your chance.
I think when I start doing adventure drives and everything, I'll probably revert my schedule. That's coming up in next week. So adventure drives, we're doing our fall drive. I think we got like 5 rooms left to fill if anyone's interested. The adventure drive trip is D.C. to Nashville. We start at the Mandarin Oriental in Washington, D.C., and we end at the Thompson Hotel in Nashville on the 28th. I'm flying from there to the SEMA for Vegas. Vegas for SEMA, that one. And I'm flying back for Halloween with my kids. But
cool.
But I bought a bus. That's new.
Yeah, I saw that. What was I guess tell the viewers what, you want to take your kids to school one day with the bus?
No, the bus, it was like part Halloween costume, part, like I had a good client who needed a bus for a display. So I was like, yeah, I'll buy a bus.
Where do you find a bus for sale?
I found it on eBay.
They're bus.com?
No, eBay.
eBay,
yep.
What year is the bus?
It's 2003. It's an international.
Was it a diesel?
Diesel, yeah. Hydraulic brakes, which is nice. Got the handicap door on the side. But it's a good. Like,
it's a full size school bus.
Full size. Well, no, it's like 35 feet, not 42 feet or something like that.
Okay.
It's not a short bus, not the longest of buses.
Yeah.
But it's if you looked at it, you'd be like, that's a big school bus.
How much power does it have, or lack of
no
power?
idea.
No.
I didn't go above like 55 or 60.
Now, when you buy a bus like that, you have to go to inspection?
I mean, when you register it, it depends how you register it. You can register it as a recreational vehicle, to my knowledge.
Because of the weight, probably, right?
No, just like you can register virtually anything as a recreational vehicle, and then you're no longer required to like have a CDL license or anything like that.
Good to know.
So, yeah, a fun fact.
Well, what's your plans with it? You're going to use for business
I've already
purposes?
got it sold.
Oh, okay.
The person who rented it for display may want it again.
Okay.
It's the only reason I'm still sitting on it. My truck is down for the count right now. Jeff took it apart to swap the last 2 injectors that weren't swapped in Colorado, and some holes got stripped, some things got snapped, some holes got stripped, and it's been a 5 or 6 week process since there. So hopefully it's done by the next podcast. We're working on it. I bought another truck, a 2019 Chevy, and I'm shipping that out I bought the cab and chassis, and I'm shipping that out to get modified to the same thing. So I'm gonna have a new version of my truck.
You're going to get rid of the old one?
No, I'll keep the old one.
Oh.
But I'll have 2 of them. One, the old one is good for like regional stuff. I don't want to send it back over to California again. Like I didn't like when my truck broke down in like Colorado and I didn't have a choice but to use a dealer out there and get quoted $12,000 for something. Like if it's local, I can just fish it out.
Yeah.
Get it back.
Do you still have a shipping company you were doing, or?
That's part of it.
Yeah.
I'll probably use the new truck for shipping. I've got a couple of wedge trailers, 3-car wedges that I'll use for shipping. But the shipping is more like convenience for me. Like when the Adventure Drives comes up,
you could ship cars on that. I can
ship cars in 2 days versus like 5 days.
Right.
If I have a private event or something like that.
Because they're just shipping your cars.
Yeah, I've got more of a... if I have a private event, I've got more capacity to move my cars, and then I'll have to go to a third party, which is usually ridiculously expensive. So the fact that I can, like, even if it costs me a couple of bucks, at least I own the equipment. But
you're not really shipping to the public. Nobody can call you up and say, "Ship my car to Florida."
I can. We've got the MC motor carrier number, and we have the DOT number and the insurance. So, but I don't want to act as a transport company yet because there's a lot of time and effort that goes into the logistics of that. So until we get to that point where we want to do that, I don't want to dive into that.
Cool.
I've got the Project Car Challenge. I think I'm going to do another one this winter. So we're working on that. I've just got so much stuff going on. So many lines in the water at once. So what are you up to, Glenn?
I sold 2 cars. They got to watch
sell?
my channel to find that out. They got to watch my channel, Rob.
They can
Gotta
watch.
go to
channel.
Glenn's Car Collection.
Did you sell the NSX?
No.
Did you sell the GT, the Porsche?
I have an offer on the Porsche.
The 993?
I have an offer on it.
125.
You're very close.
I would sell it. I'd let it go.
We'll see what happens.
It's a good time to buy. It's a good time to sell. I don't think you're really gonna hate yourself for that. So.
We'll see.
And then you sold the. I don't even know what else you had. You didn't sell the M2. There was a lease or no?
No, I owned it.
The M2. So I could see selling the M2. Did you sell the M2?
We'll see.
And then the S2K.
The S2000 I sold. I sold the GLA 45.
Okay.
Yep. I bought an Audi S8. Did we
Okay.
go over that last time?
Long wheelbase?
Well, S8 is only short wheelbase.
Okay.
So the A8, you can get 300
8L,
horsepower,
yeah.
400 horsepower. 88L is the long wheelbase, 5 inches longer. It all goes to the back seat. The S8 is a 4-liter twin turbo, 520 horsepower. It's
Okay.
all short wheelbase.
I sort of want an A8L. How much are they?
Depends what year. You can get an A8 if you just want the 300 horsepower or 6. You can get them for like 35.
Yeah, I want like a long wheelbase for the
Yeah.
fam, to move the fam.
Yeah. You can get V8s for in the 40s. S8s are more than that. But I found my S8 down in Miami.
Okay.
And did I tell you the S8 story? So I heard the Bang & Olufsen stereo, which is $6,500, is 1,400 watts. Once I heard that, since it's a work car, and I'm sitting in traffic all the time, I wanted that stereo. So I searched the country, and I found Bang & Olufsen in, maybe I'll have to change the names because I shouldn't badmouth anybody. I found one locally, which could be the tri-state area, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, one in Miami, and then one like in the Midwest. So the Midwest was like a no-name dealer, so I wanted to buy an Audi dealer CPO.
Yep.
Because if you go online, just like any BMW, Mercedes, the day the warranty expires,
You're done.
you have $9 billion in repairs.
Yeah.
So for the S8, I went like on one of the forums, and somebody on there had just bought an S8 the same year as mine, 2013, which is the first of the twin turbo V8. They said how great the car was. It was awesome, best car they ever bought. So I messaged the guy. I said, I'm looking to buy one. Now that the warranty's up, how is it? He's like, the first day when I was out of warranty, had electronic problem, it was a $5,000 repair. So I said, all right, I guess I'm buying a CPO.
Yeah.
So I found one at a local dealer, not in New Jersey, but in this area. And they had exactly what I wanted, but the price was like 10 grand too high.
Sure.
And there are 120 cars new, and they sell for like 50 to 60, somewhere in that range. So this car was like exactly what I wanted. I wanted black on black, 34,000 miles, CPO. And I called them up and I said, look, I said, you don't know me. I buy a lot of cars. You know, I'm messaging people who bought from dealers so I know what they actually paid for the cars. I said, I think your price is like 10 grand too high. I said, you know, but I'm close by. I can come and buy it today, the whole bit. So the guy's like, all right, make an offer. So I paid more than I would, not the 10 grand. I forget what I offered, but say I offered 4 grand more than it was worth, or 5 grand. The guy hung up on me. He said, that's an insult. And this is a salesman for Audi at a dealership. So I won't say what dealership. He hung up on me. So
Jack
then,
Daniels.
what?
Jack Daniels.
No, it wasn't. No, Jack Daniels was great. I feel bad. I used the same salesman there like 10 times to test drive cars, and they had like a newer S8 that was like 80 grand, and my budget was like 50. So I sold 2 cars for like 60 something, and so I wanted 50. I had plenty of money for running costs, sales tax, maintenance, the whole bit, warranty. So the Miami dealer, same thing. I said, I got to ship my GLA there, 45. So I actually traded it in, shipped it, and trade that back up. I said, that's my problem, not yours. But they were asking, making this up, like 52. I said, I only could do 48 because I got the shipping. You know, maybe I can find someone for 50. And they're like, nah, I don't know that we can do that, but let me see. And the guy called me back, and he's like, all right, we'll do it. He goes, you know, down here we sell, they're a Ferrari, McLaren, Porsche, and Audi dealer. So they said, down here we get full price. It's Miami. We get full price. The collection in Miami. So, and they were great, fantastic, free plug to them. They said, down here, you know, we get top dollar for Porsche, it's Miami. He says, but nobody wants an all-wheel drive Audi, so they accepted the price.
Sure.
Now, they didn't send me the paperwork till they saw the GLA 45, because I said, give me the same trade-in value that Jack Daniels was giving me. It's another Audi dealer.
You just called out, you just said it was
No. Jack Daniels wasn't the dealer that screwed me.
it.
Jack Daniels was where I waste the salesman's time test driving, because I wanted an S6 first.
Sure.
They had the other dealer was not in New Jersey, but maybe I just got a bad salesman. But Jack Daniels was great. So I said, because the other dealer outside in this area wouldn't even see my GLA because they were insulted by my offer on the S8. So I said, you don't know me. I said, but my cars are pristine. Like, they don't have a scratch on them, not a dent, nothing. So they waited till the car got to Florida, and then the guy called me up. He goes, oh, you're right. This car is perfect. Then they sent me the paperwork. But when I got the paperwork, like, I put the wife and kids in the car, and my kid was like, oh, Daddy, the window scratched back here. And like, it's the rear window in the passenger seat. I'm like, wow. It looked like somebody put one of these lamps in it, and maybe we're driving, and it went like this and put deep scratches in the window. So I'm like, oh, wow. So I called them up. I said, look, I love the car. Everything's perfect. I got it for a good price. So I was in the money, $3,000 or $4,000. If I had to fix the window, no big deal. So I called them up. I said, just so you know, the window was badly scratched. I'm surprised they got through the CPO inspection. So the same salesman's like, all right, let me get, you know, I'll check with the CPO guys. I'm like, I'm never going to hear from this guy again, right?
Yeah.
It's too late now. So he called me back like a couple days later. He's like, oh, just so you know, I talked to the CPO guys, and they just do like a safety inspection. So if there's a couple scratches, you know, that's what's going to be. He goes, but, you know, this is the first time you do the deal with us. We want to stand behind our product. You know, if you want the window replaced at Safe Light, it's $400. We'll pay for a new window, which I thought was really cool because I already had the car transactions done. And they didn't wind up paying for a new window because I took it to my friend who does window tinting, because the windows were tinted. And he took the tint off, and it was just in the tint.
Okay.
So they paid for new tint, which was like $100.
Yeah.
But kudos to them. They could have done nothing and never returned my phone call.
Until you pissed off.
Yeah, a local tri-state dealer hung up on me because they didn't like my fair market value offer.
Who was the dealer? Blow him up.
Should I blow him up?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you gotta keep them honest. Like, if somebody's not treating.
I was out. It was Audi in Manhattan.
Okay.
Yeah. So here I'm like right across the bridge.
Sure.
I saw my GLA for trade-in, and they can fuck around. You know, they can give me a great price on the S8 and screw me on the trade-in, right? So it's like there was no reason for the guy to say to hang up on me, right?
I actually went to Jeep of Manhattan. It was shut down.
Oh yeah.
Like, the lights were on, like the desks. It was just like literally like a evacuation drill, and it turns out they got closed down for whatever reason. I don't know what it was, but there was like nobody worked there anymore.
Really?
And I'm sure there's going to be, maybe they defaulted on their loans and the bank shut them down. And I mean, it'll be back.
Yeah.
Under
Different
new
ownership,
or
probably.
something
Yeah.
like that. May take a couple of months. In bankruptcy court. I really don't know why it was shut down, but it was just weird to see because I needed a Jeep.
Right.
So.
What kind of Jeep did you get?
I needed a Wrangler, turbo Wrangler.
Oh.
The 4-cylinder turbo, which is the new one.
Cool.
But it's not a very popular car, the 4-cylinder turbo. It gets better gas mileage, but then it needs premium, so all the savings you're going to have with the other one, like, get eaten up by... and it's not that much better gas mileage.
Right, it's probably
like
you got to stay out of the turbo to get it.
22.
Yeah, like all these cars are turbocharged now to get the EPA
So, like,
mileage.
in order to get your values worth out of that, you'd have to keep it, like, more than the usable life of the car.
Right, 500 years you'll break
even.
even.
Like, you'll see a savings after, like, 190,000 miles and whatever.
Yeah, but it just shows you to shop around for cars. Like the S8, they only make a couple hundred of them a year.
Yeah.
So the prices are all over the place.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So just keep looking. Like I found cars, I got mine with 19,000 miles on it too, CPO, and all the other cars that I were looking with that were more money had 35,000 miles. You know, and the worry on any car, you know, the turbos, OEM turbos on that car, like two of them, are like $9,000.
Sure.
But you're probably not going to get into that until you're 80,000 miles, unless you tune it. Like you can tune those cars for pretty cheap.
Unless it was a rollback.
Yeah, unless it was a rollback. But you could you can tune those cars and make like 700 horsepower. And the 520 that's advertised, like Motor Trend put a 2013 on a dyno, was putting out like 580. And that I did a video. That's actually my fastest car, 0 to 60, because the 993 turbo is like, you know, in a perfect world, it's 3.7 seconds to 60. The S8 is 3.5.
Yeah.
But it's a big car. It's a boat. It's 4,600 pounds.
And then exactly, it's 0 to 60 is pretty impressive. 0 to 150 takes a weekend.
Well, actually, that car's fast. I think the more impressive pull on that car is 60 to 120.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, 0 to 60 got the all-wheel drive, but just because of the displacement, it's a 4-liter V8, where it's really fast, like say on Route 95, going 60 to 120.
Yeah.
So work car, it's got a big back seat because I have clients in the car, and the 600 horsepower is for me.
Sure.
And I like the massage seat, so when I'm sitting on Route 17 traffic, I'm doing the seat massage. So.
What else is good? Anything else exciting?
That's it. You been buying or selling any cars?
No, not at the moment. Just a Rolls-Royce Dawn I'm selling, just to get out of it for the season. But Project Car Challenge. Let me know in the comments who you want to see compete in the Project Car Challenges here if I do another one. Obviously, we've got the usual players. I'm trying to get Rob Dahm out there. I want to point out, obviously, the reason for the Project Car Challenge was to challenge Rob Dahm. That was the initial reason for all of this, was to light a fire under his ass over a year ago.
Did you win that bet? Wasn't it like a $10,000 bet?
Yeah, I won it, but I was disingenuous. I don't want his money. but like I wanted to run Rob Dahm over a year ago to get the 4-rotor ready. That was a year ago. I mean, it's starting to make progress now, but it's still got a ways to go. So hopefully by this winter, he can get it wrapped up. But I've got, other than the travel coming up, that's what's really been preventing the weekly uploads here. I had travel to Europe. I mean, October is a huge month for travel for me. Europe, I was there for the first 10 days of the month. I was in Chicago just prior to that. And then in like 3 days, I'm going to Ohio for 3 days for Shivam's wedding. Come back for 2 days, and I do the Adventure Drives trip from the 24th to the 28th. And then from there, I go directly from Adventure Drives to SEMA, and I fly back on Halloween, which is the last day of the month. I've got an arbitration proceeding in a couple of weeks in November. Just tons of stuff to do. Lastly, I've got the trip to Disney, and then the next Adventure Drive trip's coming up next year, the Iceland trip, and then the Europe trip. So there's a lot going on. And there's a lot with the rental companies, a lot to keep tabs on. So I hope you guys are enjoying the YouTube channel. I put up another Best Cop Moments video.
Oh, I saw that,
so
yeah.
That's always a good time. Check it out, and thank you for watching. Check out Glenn's Car Collection if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe, the usual like, subscribe thing. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. I'm sort of tired. Sorry if I was yawning a couple times throughout that broadcast, but we appreciate you watching, and we'll try to get the upload schedule where it belongs. Thanks to the sponsors, Dollar Shave Club and Sheath Underwear. Those guys both rock. And we will catch you guys on podcast 67, which is going to be in the next in the next week or so, hopefully. See you then.
Take care.